Serious. Girls who have been guilted into going out with a nice guy. How did it go? Story 1. Well, I might not be a girl. I was the nice guy in my first relationship. I was meeting a girl which I knew from a friend's girlfriend. Well, at first everything was nice and we weren't having anything serious, just meeting like friends, playing paintball and billiard and so on. However, I really liked her and she did recently break up and I tried to cheer her up always. So then I asked her politely if she would consider trying a relationship, and to my surprise, she said yes. I was the happiest guy on earth this day. So we started dating seriously, going to cinema and doing stuff alone. But I don't know why, but I really got clingy. Like I wanted to see her all the time. I wanted her to come over to me, and it ended up creeping her, which in hindsight, I really understand. And she got continually creeped out until she broke up, and I was devastated. I didn't force her to do anything, but I was, as I said, clingy. After that, I was depressed for over a year and then got my crap together. However, I am sorry that she had to experience me like that, and I also apologized for that, and now we're just normal friends. Not as good as before, but all in all, it ended up good for me since because of that, I ended up with my current girlfriend, and without seeing my failures from the past, I wouldn't be able to hold this relationship. Hey, good on you for realizing your mistakes and actually working on improving yourself. Most nice guys never reach that stage and let their cringy, self-entitled hate fester. Story 2. He was the first guy I ever really dated. We were in high school. We'd been friends for a long time, probably since elementary school, and then we started dating when I was a freshman. He was initially really nice, seemed to respect me, and had an interest in what I was interested in. I was head over heels for him. I never knew that I was worthy enough to be loved, so I was willing to do things that I shouldn't have done in order to keep that feeling of being loved intact. As time went on, things began to go downhill. He started comparing me to other girls in the school, making note of what features that he preferred on them, and telling me that it's too bad that I didn't have them. He started telling me that I needed to dress nicer. I'd always been a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal, but he specified he wouldn't talk to me unless I wore certain things. My makeup had to be done a certain way, and he began pressuring me to dye my hair blonde. I'm a Pacific Islander. I never went full blonde, but I did get dramatic highlights due to the pressure. He said I should lose weight. He told me that I needed to pick him up from school in the morning since I had purchased my own car and had the ability to drive before he did. A lot of my funds from working went to him as he demanded an allowance. He did not have a job. After he found out that I didn't believe in God, he began forcing me to go to church with him on Sundays and to read from the Bible throughout the week. He texted me sometimes, let me know that he was masturbating to adult entertainment of some hot chicks, and that I should take lessons from them. It eventually came to the point that he pressured me into having intercourse with him, convincing me that it was the only way for me to show him that I loved him. Rear intercourse was pretty much the only thing that he did. Despite me giving him oral when he requested it, he never returned the favor after one time as he claimed I tasted awful. He took photographs of us doing it and regularly demanded intercourse after school functions. I found out at one point that he showed pictures of us together to his friends and told them how much of a S I was for him. Even after all of this, he would sometimes buy me gifts, send me messages telling me that he loved me, wrote me notes and handed them to me in class, told me that he was doing me a favor by loving someone like me. It was so confusing. I eventually did break up with him. It took extreme measures to get him to stop stalking me. I think that relationship has still had damaging effects on me to this day. That really sucks. I'm so sorry you went through this. Yeah, first off, that guy is an absolute grade A piece of crap. What an absolutely loathsome human to treat someone else like that. But also, don't hold it against yourself. Even adults make bad choices with romance, and you were in high school and being solely brainwashed by someone who was your friend at first. He's a jerk, and you deserve so much better. Story 3. I was in high school and figured I should give the guy a chance. Maybe I was just being snobby. Anyway, we decided to go to the movies. His older sister came along to chaperone and spent the movie sitting in my lap to make sure we didn't get up to anything funny. After the movie, I said I had to go home. Later that night, he called me, crying to confess he'd snapped a picture of me and whacked off to it. There wasn't a second date. Incidentally, this was when I began to have an inkling that I maybe liked girls. Story 4. We were friends in high school and most of college. It was one of those things where he was a friend of a friend, but we always went to the same parties, hung together in the same group, and so on. The guys in the group would always say things like, "Aw man, you and Kyle would be so great together, you should give him a shot." I'd kind of laugh it off because for the majority of the time, I had a boyfriend. Eventually, me and the boyfriend broke up, and about a week later, Kyle asked me out. I wasn't really ready, but I figured it was a first date and everyone had been pressuring me into giving this guy a chance, so I went. The whole evening was awkward. We just ordered a pizza and watched movies, which was what we did in our friend group anyways, but this guy would not stop staring. I felt like I couldn't even eat because I was under a microscope. The evening ended uneventfully, but then there was the aftermath. We kept texting and seeing each other in the friend group, and about a week later he asked when we can have another date. I told him that maybe I had rushed into things too fast and I just wasn't feeling any connection with him. "I broke up with my girlfriend for you." Yep. Dude found out I was single, dumped his girlfriend of 8 months just so he could ask me out to an awkward pizza date in his bedroom. The timely cherry on top is that they got back together, and apparently I'm tearing their marriage apart because she found a bunch of texts from me from 6 years ago, and he admitted that he kept them because he still likes me. I haven't seen him in 4 years. Edit for timeline, we are friends in high school 10 years ago and college 5 to 6 years ago. While we're in college, he asked me out after dumping his girlfriend. Sometime after that, they get back together and are married last year. Last week, a friend informs me that they are on the verge of divorce because she found texts he had saved screenshots from our college chats 5 or 6 years ago. Now that's fricked. Some folks really need to take a step back and realize when a crush has turned into an unhealthy infatuation. Like at first, the awkward staring on the date, I can excuse it as the guy just being awkward and nervous finally dating someone he's been crushing on. But dumping a girlfriend like that for a chance and then getting back with her, he's got some problems that might need some therapy. Story 5. Throwaway account for this, as I don't want my story tracing back to me. I met him through online dating, and after a couple of weeks of chatting online, decided to cool things off as he was giving off a creepy, needy vibe that frightened me. He would ask about ex-boyfriends frequently and tell me that he would be good for me, ask intimate questions without any encouragement, and want to know intimate details. I forgot all about him until he sent me a random message months later and apologized for his previous behavior, which he blamed on a tricky breakup. Time passed and he seemed like a new person, so I gave in and met with him. Our first couple of dates seemed fine with just a few odd comments that I should have paid attention to. Then he started questioning where I was and who I was with, but again, I just foolishly ignored this. The first time and last time I stayed at his, we went out for drinks beforehand, and he was judging me for having a couple of beers. When we got back to his place, I wasn't feeling up to anything intimate, so told him firmly no and went to sleep. Later that night, I woke up to him on top of me. I never confronted him about this. I just pretended I hadn't woke up and made an excuse the next day before blocking him from my life. I've never told anyone this before. I just wish I listened to my previous instinct and kept well away. Story 6. The date wasn't too bad, although he kept changing pretty much every single sentence he said so it would fit my interest. Something like, "I like ice cream." "Cool, I like frozen yogurt." "Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Ice cream is nice, but frozen yogurt is amazing." And so on for 4 hours straight. At the end, I had no idea what he was actually like. He also kissed me in the most awkward way possible. I guess he thought it was going to be romantic and spontaneous, but it wasn't. Then he kissed me again and he walked me to the train station. He hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe and started making weird noises, kind of like what some people do during heavy pre-intercourse makeout sessions, except it was a rather quick kiss in a public place. Started texting me before I even got home, and when I didn't answer, got upset. Told him he was nice, but I didn't think we'd work out. Said it's cool, asked if we can stay friends. Silly me, I said yes. We kept talking for about a month, during which he very friendly kept checking in if I had slept with someone else and making sure I know how much of a intercourse god he is. You know, I once even made my lesbian friends see super hard. This is also the time I met my current boyfriend and was meeting a bunch of new people at uni, so we'd talk less and less each week. Then one day, he asked me out. I said I wasn't sure if he was completely fine with us being just friends, so that wouldn't be appropriate. He went on this massive rant about how he'd actually been seeing someone else in that time, but they broke up shortly before that. How he's so over me and didn't even think I'm that hot anymore and how nothing would happen. I said no, because I was broke and couldn't fully enjoy myself while worrying about not spending too much. We were supposed to go to a Metallica concert. Apparently his best friend had spent 120 pounds on his ticket, but then last minute found something better to do. But he promised he'd take care of everything and we could chill at his place with pizza and some films as friends. I said I could consider the concert, but there's no way I'd stay over. I mentioned texting someone else to see if they would be fine with me sleeping over at theirs afterwards. He jokingly asked if it's someone I'm sleeping with, and I said it's none of his business. Then he told me how much of a bee I was for sleeping with other people and not sleeping with him. Said it's so unfair that he knew me so much better, but he felt like other people had more rights to me than him, and that we kissed and he didn't expect me to be this. Yes. By the way, I did not want to kiss him. It was just so I was a college freshman. First week of school, I was in my dorm hangout area going through the calendar on my phone to add exams to my schedule. I didn't realize that nice guy was looking over my shoulder as I was doing so. He goes, "I see you don't have plans on Saturday. We're going to breakfast." I continually objected and said I just hadn't gotten around to adding anything to it yet. He wouldn't leave me alone about it all week, so eventually I agreed to go on Saturday. I was purposefully on my worst behavior in an attempt to repulse him because clearly my opinion didn't matter otherwise. He ended the date by calling his mom, telling her that he met his future bride, that we were going to give her grandchildren. He handed the phone to me, so I straight up told his mother that I had no interest in